retail process, right? What are some things that you learned that are required if you have, like, let's say if someone were to start like a granola like you, they come up with a granola bar, let's say, and they package it, they want to come into a store. What are some things that retailers look for when you actually want to come into a store? What are some like the solid fundamentals that you can share with someone who wants to get into a retail store that they can implement or can take notes right now and go to a retailer and say, hey, I have this brand, I have these many people who are interested in. How do I come in? How do I become a product on your shelf?
I mean, there are lots of rules and regulations. There's in Quebec, there's a thing called the MAPAC. Like you have to have this food safety license almost based on where you're preparing it. But I have to be honest with you, there was one store in all of the stores that I approached that said they didn't want to carry it because I didn't have some stamp or something. So I would almost say it, I mean, I think it also depends on the province. For me, it was I just cold called. I just cold called people and they were taken with the story. They were taken with the product. Like I said at the beginning, like they were just so happy to support local. Now these are one-off stores, you know, they're independent stores. If you're looking at a chain, any kind of chain, their rules and the obstacles are much greater. So it sounds like everything is great. To be honest with you, if I wanted, like I'm not with a distributor. So there are a lot of chains, like there's a chain in Quebec that's called Marché Taux or Rochelle Berry, which is actually owned by Sobeys that owns Loblaws or
Yeah.
whatever. Anything that's like that, they don't want to know from you unless you are with a distributor. Because a distributor, from what I've learned, you know, they don't want to deal with 1,000 Julies and 1,000 granolas. They want to deal with one company that is going to represent all 1,000. So if they're getting an order of, you know, 50 products from one place, they prefer to do that than 50 orders from 50 different stores. The distributors do the inventory management. The distributors, from what I understand, really do all the work. So they're on top of what's selling and what's not selling, and they're the ones doing the reorders, and they provide a lot of services to the stores. A lot of these big chains and stuff too, like the Loblaws and that of the world, they have astronomical listing fees just to list your product. I mean, that could put a small company out of business. So for me, because I was either making it myself or now I have a caterer, actually a local caterer in Montreal who is producing it for me. I didn't have the room in my margin to work with a distributor. So I was limited right from the beginning, which I didn't even know that I was, but I ended up figuring out. Like I got to the bottom of the ninth with these small chains. I never tried for Loblaws or Provigo or anything like that because I knew that I couldn't produce enough for them. But they basically said, if you're not with a distributor, and at the beginning it was like, oh, you don't have enough SKUs, because at the beginning I only had two flavors and two sizes of bag. So one of them said, okay, come back when you have more SKUs. So then I added two more flavors. But basically, like, it really wasn't easy. It hasn't been easy. And every time I go to a show, people ask me, are you in these three chains in Quebec? And I'm not, and I have to say I'm not. So it's not so easy to get into those, specifically if you're not with a distributor. And then from what I've learned, you know, working with distributors has its own challenges too. Namely, they don't really sell for you. They push what's selling. So in the granola world, for example, you go into any grocery store, you'll see the same 8 or 10 brands in every single store. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So those are the brands that are there. So those are the brands that people buy. So those are the brands that sell. So those are the brands that the distributors push, as opposed to wanting to push something new because there's nothing in it for, like, it's almost like I have to get to 500 stores by myself before a distributor will want to work with me. And then it's like I'm handing them what I just worked for so hard. Yeah. So I have mixed feelings about it. But to answer your question, when it's an independent store, I really just cold called. For sure, you have to meet basic hygiene and food preparation standards like that. But having said that, nobody really asked. I'm not suggesting that anybody not take the food safety and hygiene course or do anything, but there's weird rules. Like you can make a product at home and sell it at a farmer's market, but you can't make a product at home and sell it to a store who's going to resell it. without this license, because ultimately it's the person who sells it that is responsible. So the stores don't want to be responsible if a screw or a nail or a hair gets into something that I produce and I sell it to a store that sells it to a person, the person is going to go back to the store, and they don't want that responsibility unless you can back it up. So I'm not sure if I really answered your question. Like, if you're starting something from scratch, like, for sure what I would say, and I didn't do this because, again, it started all by accident, but you got to find a niche. You got to find something that differentiates you from everybody else. If it's a product that there's 50 of, and if there's a product that you're the only one, you have to figure out a way to make yourself stand out. For us, it's been us. I say us, it's me, but for me, it's been, the black bags. It's been that it's high end. After the fact, we did a whole market study, and it turns out that there's a ton of opening price point granola brands, the Kellogg's of the world and all of that, that's super cheap. And there's a big chunk of medium level brands, like, I don't know what, Love Crunch, and I can't even name all of them. Good brands, whatever. There are no premium brands. And just by fluke, that's where I was in the market. I was a premium brand because my ingredients are more expensive, and they're, gluten-free oats are more expensive than non-gluten-free oats. So is my product too expensive? It might be $1. It's okay to be more expensive because I can back it up, but it might be too expensive. I'm not having any price resistance, having said that, but I am trying to bring my cost down so that I can contemplate working with a distributor as it goes on. And now I'm actually in the final stages of negotiating with a co-packer who is going to produce for me in greater volume. The price comes way down. They're going to package it for me. Like, now I get it from the caterer in bulk in these big giant garbage pail bins, and I almost pack every order that as it comes in. So it's super fresh. Again, I think my business is ending every week, so I don't want to order hundreds of kilos. So I'm only ordering like 100 kilos, and then I'm like, I'm out of stock. I have to keep reordering. But the good thing about that is it's always fresh. Certainly working with a co-packer is going to allow me the opportunity to have tons of bags ready to go. I can start working with Amazon. Like, this co-packer has all these certifications that I didn't have with a caterer who doesn't care if they're certified organic or certified gluten-free. So, it's definitely a plus that it's gluten-free, but if anyone's asking me about celiac disease, for example, I'm very quick to tell them this is not certified gluten-free. It is made in a facility that could contain gluten. They don't make other products when they're making mine, but it could. I'm very nervous, obviously, about allergies and things like that, but we state it clearly. But now it's going to be amazing to be able to state it is certified gluten-free. There's nothing to worry about. It's certified kosher and halal. It's going to be, certified organic. Those are all important claims that will justify the price. Again, to answer your question, you gotta have passion and hustle for what you want. You have to be aggressive, and you have to not take no for an answer. Like, I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive person. So luckily I didn't get that many no's. I got all yeses, to be honest. Not all, because I definitely, as the months and years went on, like, I just keep reaching out. I'm on Instagram, and like, I make things happen. You see a brand that is similar to yours or is in the same space. I go and I look and I see the stores that they're selling. And then I go and I reach out to those stores saying, okay, you have something that's like a friend, could be next to mine, not competitive with mine, but next to mine, and that's how I get a lot of stores. You can't wait for them to come to you. That's for sure not. But it depends on your personality.
Thank you for watching that video. To see the next video, click right over here. And to subscribe, click right over here. Peace.